Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith. There's been some breaking Q news, so I'm going to cover it tonight before I go to sleep, and then I'll cover some more stuff that happens tomorrow related to it. So, first of all, today is the 26th of June. It's like 10:45 p.m., and there has been an incident with a plane. So, a plane was landed. They're not sure exactly what's happened yet. There isn't a lot of news that's been released or official statements or anything. So I'll just read over the post and then we'll go look at it. So post 1588 says coincidence, review the images and location. Nothing provided is random. It was San Francisco to JFK. It was an flight A321. It was a direct flight. And it was signed Q. Okay, so that was what I was just mentioning. And we'll go to Twitter here and look at some links here in a second. But this is the coverage. So Q replies to that and he says, signal sent. Attempt still made. Averted. So I think that's like a jamming device. I think I read that somewhere. So signal sent, attempt was still made, and it was averted. So I guess maybe they were able to land the plane even though there was a signal jammed. The story is that the plane lost communications with the tower. So, to continue, it says, do you believe it's a coincidence extreme rhetoric is being pushed while at the same time Rod Rosenstein is on the brink of collapse? Define. So Rod Rosenstein must either comply with all the document demands or face impeachment. Either way, it's a two-way failure. If he complies, he fails. There's self-implication and a known conflict, which is why he sailed through the nomination process, why he was selected in the first place. Okay, if he fails to comply, though, he gets impeached and he gets removed. So why has there not been DOJ text disclosed to the public? So Rod Rosenstein to Loretta Lynch to Hillary Clinton, and then two people, somebody to somebody. Okay, so it talks about, I think, James Comey to Loretta Lynch and 247 times, and that's relevant. I don't know if that's 24/7 or if it's 247 times. It could be that they communicated 247 times directly. So it says Loretta Lynch is key. Okay, so to move on, I'll just get over this quick because there's a lot here. It says, where are the JCAM text messages, Gmail messages, burner phone messages, the call polls coming soon to a theater near you? So generally they drop that in there to get us excited. P.S. LP texts are only scratching the surface. Threat of assassination. They are preparing for this by activating progressive activists. Redline. My worry about the threats of assassination is it's going to be some kind of like tongue-in-cheek thing that they can just easily explain away. So I'm not too excited about that. I wasn't also excited about, remember he was supposed to be impeached last Friday. What happened to that? Remember that popped up out of nowhere? It got posted to on the QAnon board from Lisa May to the political I-17 guy. Remember how they kind of made it seem like Rod Rosenstein was going to get impeached on Friday? Did that happen? You know, you got to ask yourself, what was the point of all that? Because then we started talking about her pedophile ring, and it was kind of old news, I think. So I did a video about it. I covered the news because it was on the Q post, but at the same time, what'd that do for us? Nothing. It got people excited about Friday, and it didn't happen. So remember the channel of people that provided that information. Just remember that. So it says once the documents are supplied and viewed by the Senate and congressional leaders and the public, they lose. To set up a scam, FISA, abuse of executive powers, legal spying, frame, insertion of assets. So they're going to try to prevent it at all costs. The traitors are all of them. They know that we know. But until the public knows it is contained, the people have the power. I have been saying this for months. Unless my dad knows, unless the TV tells my dad, it's not real to the American public. Because my dad at this point is a shade of purple. You know, he was deep blue about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But after I think Trump's been warming up with some good stuff, I think he's been surprised. So he's starting to turn a shade of purple, but there ain't no way he's ever going to go red. You know, and I'm not even sure this has got to be a party thing anymore. Democrats versus Republicans. I don't want to boil the conversation out of that. I think that having options is a good thing, but we need to get this thing handled, man. We're getting destroyed, Let's handle it. My worry is that it's not going to show up until September. So they're going to bust some stuff loose July, hopefully, which I'll talk about in a second. But I think September is going to be the big breakthrough. Late September, early October, you're going to see a big pop, probably, because it's going to be a gear up for the midterm elections. And I think it's difficult to keep the news cycle active for more than like 6 weeks from just what I know. And I'm not a pro or anything. I just think 6 weeks is kind of like that's the end push. So expect to see a lot more stuff like end of September, early October, if anything. My worry, though, man, is that we haven't seen anybody do a perp walk. I know people have been calling for that for a long time, but we've really gotten nothing of substantial value out in the open. We had Adam Schiff at the Standard Hotel covering up helicopter accidents. That was like, 3-4 months ago? Whatever happened with that? Whatever happened with Syria? What's going on in North Korea? There's all kinds of stuff. I'm tired of chasing, I want something real to happen so we can talk about it. My point being is that even once they have their congressional hearings and the stuff comes out in the open, so what? They still haven't tried anybody, and maybe they do have a bunch of sealed indictments, but that's going to take a huge amount of time to push through more. So unless maybe the plan is this. Maybe the plan is use the first 2 years, okay, to secure the midterms, pop it right at the midterms, and then use the second 2 years to start trying people in the public. Air out the dirty laundry. And then use that to secure a second term for Trump. And the second term is probably going to be where all the magic happens, because he's not facing re-election and he really doesn't have to worry about keeping control of stuff. It could just be, mow it all over. So I see the differences here. I see how it could be one thing versus the other. I understand the timeline, but I want to see some more stuff. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's get through the rest of this. So the people have the power. MSM will portray progressive activists as a large part of the population. This is false. No possibility of compromise. Do not underestimate our resolve. We stand at the ready. Okay, so, some Antifa foot soldiers ain't going to do much. So, fails. This was a misspelling. We saw this like twice. Q's posting from a mobile phone. That's why everything points to mobile Twitter. So, I don't know, man. I really think that I would like to see them take this more seriously. That's just me. I think that this should warrant you doing this from a desktop or a laptop computer. You should be checking your post 5 or 6 times before you post anything to this board. There's millions of people that are going to talk about it. You know what I mean? So stop being stupid, QAnon. That's 2 spelling mistakes in less than a few posts, so I think you need to bring some integrity back into your work. That's all I'm saying. Don't take it as harsh criticism. I think that it's a disservice if you're not going to check your own work before you post it. I watch my videos twice before I post them. Just saying. You're running the conversation, QAnon. You run the whole conversation. Millions of people talk about this. So, anyway. He had a long day. So I wanted to get to this. We've been watching the Seth Rich, Julian Assange stuff. Now, if this does not happen soon, we are going to have a major problem to talk about in the QAnon conversation. Because they told us months ago that the ETA for the Seth Rich conversation, for that stuff to be blown wide open, for that to come to light in the public eye, that was a June ETA, and they told us that months ago. So, we're at the end of June, man. Now here they are, here's QAnon talking about this some more. And I mentioned this in a previous video where I feel like sometimes they spend some posts buying themselves some time, to keep up interest, They drive some interest and they back off for a while. I don't know who QAnon is. I understand the different angles of this conversation. I've been a part of it since January, but if the Seth Rich stuff doesn't happen soon, we're going to have a problem on our hands, and I'll have to talk about it. So I think this is buying some more time. This is a Q&A answer, so somebody was asking a question. Seth Rich and Julian Assange in June. Anything? Julian Assange in the news? Not really. They say that he's locked in the embassy still. Think James Comey. Server unlocks Seth Rich. So that's the Hillary Clinton email server. MS-13, 2 of them were killed nearby, so MS-13 killed Seth Rich. And their phones unlock the command and control. ETA was estimated. It has begun. So he's buying some more time. Q's buying some more time. He's saying, maybe July, I guess. Maybe in the next month. I really expect that if they say ETA estimated, I thought they were in control. I know it's an ETA, but still, man, I feel like if you were in control, you could enforce a strict timetable if you wanted to. Okay, so here's some pictures of the plane. I'm not going to go into it because they don't blow up really good on my phone, and I know a lot of you are mobile. Thank you, U.S. Secret Service. So that was a protection thing. Here's a link to the Daily Beast. Why are we a threat to them? This seems like propaganda. I don't know why they put this in here. But that's not it. It's this one. Talking about Kurt Schilling. So Kurt Schilling does a podcast for Breitbart. Breitbart was started by Israeli Mossad, I believe. Netanyahu is one of the funders. He's in pictures with it. They also funded and backed Lisa Mae Crowley. That's how all that links in. And they're talking about Roseanne Barr. So really, like the thought leaders for the mainstream thought leaders are people like Kurt Schilling, who I like. I like Kurt Schilling. You know what I mean? He's a good guy. I liked him as a pitcher. Roseanne Barr, she's going to be a thought leader for QAnon. And whoever else I mentioned. And then Nazi sympathizers pushing to take over Europe's spy agencies. All kinds of great stuff over here at the Daily Beast. Get it? The Daily Beast. Okay, so that was that link. Where's the rest of it? There's a picture of a plane or somebody behind the plane as it was taking off on a tarmac. But I don't know what plane that is, and that doesn't look like San Francisco to me. So I don't know. Maybe that was just where they landed. I doubt it, though. Okay, we'll get through this. There's a couple more posts here. It says, desperate agencies do stupid things. Dead cat bounce. You may have the site, but we have the source. And it's a link to Twitter on WikiLeaks. This is it. The WikiLeaks post is, why is QAnon leading anti-establishment Trump voters to embrace regime change and neoconservatism? I don't know. So I think what he's saying is they meaning the deep state, have wikileaks.org. They have the organization. Here's a link to it. I'm not going to go over this. There's a lot of stuff here. Worth pointing out is that Bill Smith is not in this. Bill Smith has never been in anything mainstream. I find that unfair. Jerome Corsi is, though. So what I'm trying to point out is that when the mainstream starts sending other people in to the funnel here to talk about QAnon, look who they're pointing them to. They're going to point them to Roseanne Barr, Jerome Corsi, people like that. So it's not to be overlooked, is what I'm saying. I think you should pay attention to that kind of stuff. So panic is good, panic is right. July 2018, the month the world discovered the truth. Conspiracy no more. Time to feed. So July 2018, man. Hopefully this next month is the month we get the major fireworks. Bombs kind of go off in this. There's some more pictures here. I'm not going to go over it too much. I'm out of time. But it talks about them having access to the cockpit. I'll leave you with some Twitter stuff. This is when the police boarded the plane and there was a queue. easily seeable on the screen there. So I'm out of time. Until next time, it's Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.